This storm will kill you.
Look! I'm telling you! You know what I mean, folks?
But if rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
It makes no difference which one of us you vote for. Either way, your planet is doomed.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Brian Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get, like, the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 96. I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer. When this music starts, doesn't it make you feel like there should be like pyrotechnics and lights that,
Absolutely.
like a WWF event?
We can get it behind us.
Yeah, and bring my lights over and
Let's
we'll
do
just
Yeah.
make it a thing.
Find us at the Our Take Pod on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or even better at theourtakepodcast.com. I mean, it's just the place to go now.
Yeah.
On this day in history, September 19th. Did I already say the date? I thought I did, but I was wrong. No, it's the 19th today.
Wait, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it is. I'll be.
In 1973, Karl XVI Gustav succeeds his grandfather, King Gustav VI, Adolf, as the King of Sweden. I hope I got those Roman numerals right.
Is there still a King of Sweden?
I don't know. Also on this day in 1944, the Moscow Armistice ends the Continuation War. That's a horrible name for a war.
The Continuation War?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we call the war in Afghanistan now?
Yeah, except this Continuation War was between Finland, the UK, and the Soviet Union, and it only lasted from 41 to 44. So only 3 years.
Ours is way better than that.
Yeah.
Ours is continuing way longer.
Yeah, we're at year 19.
Yeah,
We're
I
in the
guess
we're in the
so.
20th year of
Wait.
this war.
Yeah, you're right.
We
I'm
invaded
trying to think when we did what.
We invaded Afghanistan in like October of 2001, right after September 11th. And then we didn't invade Iraq until like 04.
But weren't all the people from like
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia? And
Yes, but they were funded by the Taliban, which is a political party in
Oh.
Afghanistan.
Wait, are you
that
talking about
has ties to Al-Qaeda.
the Tea Party?
Yes, the Tea Party. I'm trying to put the pieces together because it's actually important right now because Pompeo is trying to negotiate peace between the Taliban and Afghanistan. Or I'm sorry, yes. And one of the conditions is the Taliban has to
Don't do 9/11 again.
cease all relationships with Al-Qaeda.
Al Qaeda's still around?
Yes,
They're still kicking it?
I think so.
Man.
They beat ISIS. They survived longer than ISIS.
Wow.
So that's what's happening now over there is they're trying to get peace by telling the Taliban they have to you know how the church made kids say they didn't they're opposed to their parents if they were gay? You know?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing to the Taliban. You have to tell us you don't like Al-Qaeda. Can you promise us that you don't like Al-Qaeda?
They're like, yeah.
But yes, I believe what were there, 19 hijackers? All of them were from Saudi Arabia.
You know what? This year, I normally on 9/11, I end up diving into a
Sure.
9/11 hole.
Like a documentary.
But
thing?
I didn't this year.
Me neither.
I started one, and I was like, I don't need any more.
That's true, because every other year, we're not as inundated with depressing news as we are this year.
I mean,
But, yeah, I
the
usually
death toll
watch
from Corona is what, like
190-ish.
times more? Nah, how many times more?
190,000. So
whatever the math
60
is there.
times
It's
more?
a lot more.
At least 60 times more?
Not that 9/11, I mean, obviously, but you know.
I mean, it's funny because a lot of the conspiracy theorists think that China did this on purpose, yet they're not nearly as pissed about it as they were about 9/11, which was on purpose.
Right.
Yeah. You just took me down that hole. I'm now flashing through documentaries of like W.
I think that
talking.
that one documentary we were talking about the other day has been my favorite
About
so far.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it told a lot, because they talked about air traffic control and
Yeah.
they interviewed W.
Yeah.
And you got his raw emotion, which I thought was
Right.
interesting.
You heard that he fought with
Yeah,
Secret Service.
Yeah. And you heard about how there were live nukes on the ground by chance that day.
That's right,
Where
'cause-
he landed.
Yeah, where he landed, they were doing a drill.
Yeah.
And so as they found out that Air Force One was coming in, they were like literally running the nukes back into
Are
the
you
hangar.
sure you guys want to land here? There's
nuclear weapons.
just don't look at the runway.
Right.
Don't look.
All it would take is a minor explosion to set off a cascade of nukes.
I don't know if is that how that would work? I
don't know.
can't imagine that's how it would work, because then they wouldn't store them together.
The original nuclear bomb, I remember trying to figure out how they worked, and it took a conventional explosion to start the chain reaction.
Right.
Now I don't know how they work. It's
Yeah,
probably
'cause
something
remember,
a lot more elegant.
If you watch the documentaries, like, it was hard to. It wasn't like you just pressed a button and
No,
dropped the bomb. You had to
You had to create a pressure that would create fusion.
Insert all these cores and junk, and
because it was fusion. You had to create enough pressure to make fusion happen, and then it would.
What would have happened? What would have been if during World War II that B 20
Oh, you
29 B-29. Whew. What if they started everything, got it going, and then the airplane just like went into warp drive, and they accidentally discovered warp drive?
That would be. That would have ended the war as well, because everybody would have just.
Where
been,
did Johnny go?
Yeah,
We're
just
in
like
Mars.
like you see like a flash of light, like, and they're gone. Oh no!
Ugh.
Oh no! No one thought about this.
We
did.
We
Yeah.
knew there was a 20% chance it could
1%
send you
chance.
into warp drive, but
1% it will destroy the world. 20% you might go into warp drive.
you might surpass the speed of light. But hey,
They don't have
win-win either way.
Right. Hey, speaking of warp drive, Operation Warp Drive.
Yeah.
No one really knows, which is no one knows what's happening. That's the operation to get the vaccine out.
Oh.
And have you seen all the conflicting?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it won't be till like late next year.
Well,
but then Trump's like, we'll have enough by April.
The CDC is like,
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to be out in masses till second quarter next year,
Right.
second or third quarter.
I heard Trump on radio yesterday say,
But we'll have it by April, according to him.
he said we'd have 100 million by the end of this year, and then enough to vaccinate all of America by April.
Well, we don't even know if it works yet, so.
That's just, I don't know.
What is your stance on the corona right now? I mean, like, when you go out places, I mean, we all have to wear masks. You have to if you want to go in anywhere. But
Sure.
have you found that you're being more cavalier, or
No, I'm
are
still
you
pretty
over
cautious.
it, or?
I mean, I'm over it, but no, I'm still very cautious. In fact, Ashley and I went on a date last night, and we debated on going to a movie.
Ooh,
And they have like, they have the 6 feet on the seats. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know. Anyway, so they're doing all these precautions. You have to wear a mask in the movie. We didn't end up going because I was like,
I don't want to wear a mask during the movie.
well, and I'm like, Utah's spiking right now.
yeah, I know.
Bad.
We had
Like, I don't
more-
even know what we're at today.
It was another 1,000 something.
Yeah, we're in 4 figures right now per day.
Which kind of came out of nowhere because we were doing 2 and
Right.
300s, and then
It's because of Utah
it was like-
County.
yeah, I know. Well, it makes sense because BYU went back into session, and they're probably having in
And all the districts, like Davis County School District, is saying they want to take the kids 4 days a week now. I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
Are you guys reading the same headlines? So
See,
cases are
that's-
spiking, and you're like, let's send them to school more.
yeah. That's what it feels like though, is that everyone's just like it's just. I guess they're acting like there's never going to be a vaccine, so we just need to accept it and move on and just. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I waver back and forth because I'm done. I'm tired of it. I want to go travel. I want to, and I want to play shows. I want to do all these things, and I'm done.
Sick
I'm
of
over
recording
it,
this
man.
podcast.
Yeah, and
So we were at Farmington Station, a little outdoor mall, and we got some sushi. Like they didn't have dine in, so it was just all takeout. But we found a bench, and while we were waiting for it to be made, we did some little window shopping there.
Uh-huh.
And first we walked past a Lululemon. Are you familiar with this brand?
It's all the rich
leggings and-
yeah.
They have a sign
Uh-huh.
that says masks suggested.
Oh.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I got to take that back. It said masks not required.
Oh.
No, that's not what it said.
Oh.
I'm really sorry.
I can't tell if you're doing a bit here.
No, I'm not. I'm not. It said it said masks optional.
Oh.
Now,
and you're sure about that?
yes, I'm sure about that. Because I got pissed and thought of all the things to put, like, couldn't you put masks suggested?
Right.
So when you read masks optional, like if you were to go, I don't know, if you went to a movie and it said, pants optional, what is the implication?
That you don't have to wear pants.
And not even that you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
They're optional.
Yeah, like a nude beach, you
Right.
know?
So I found that like, that's Lululemon.
Yeah.
Because as we kept going, we get to Barnes and Noble.
Uh-huh.
Masks required.
Right.
Same mall.
Right. So,
The nice difference in
in
brands there.
because of all the Karens that go to Lululemon, they don't
Right.
want to put up with it.
Masks. What did I say it was? Optional.
Yeah. I don't know. You said
Yeah.
like 4 things.
Pants optional.
So, speaking of going to stores, okay, this is something I've noticed lately. I don't know how much shopping you've done. First of all, I went to Target the other day for the first time in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I found myself getting excited to go to Target. I was kind of
Did
like,
you dress up?
no.
You put on a nicer
I
shirt.
put on pants and a clean shirt.
That's true.
but-
Pants aren't optional there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I was driving there, I realized I was in a better mood. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm
You're like,
excited to go to Target.
listen to some Van Halen
Yeah.
on the way.
And the reason is because I needed a new bed sheet.
Uh-oh.
Because for some reason mine had a giant tear in it, like it just ripped. And
Were you like aware when it ripped? Or did you do it in your sleep?
I either in the washer or during my sleep. I didn't.
Dude, in your sleep would be awesome.
Well, these particular sheets seem to tear within a year. I don't know.
You always buy the same ones.
I go get them at Target because they're like $17 and they're comfortable.
You want like one thread count.
No, that's why I don't, because I've bought in Walmart ones before.
They're like paper.
No, I'm not even
I know.
joking. I'm not even joking.
They're like burlap.
Me and my ex, we bought them, and we're like,
You can crease them. Like
we,
they have.
we can't sleep on this. Like this is not.
You can make
It
origami.
hurt. It hurt. It literally was like sandpaper.
Right.
Like what? I
didn't-
just sleep on the ground. It'd be better.
It wasn't until I was an adult and I bought my own bed sheets that I realized what my parents had me sleeping on. My whole life was, 1 10 thread count. Like I said, you could cut a piece out, make a paper airplane.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went to Target and I'm walking down the aisle and they're out of like every sheet. They only have a few
People wiping the ass with them.
fools. Fools? Fool, not fools.
Fulls.
God, the English language is so stupid, right?
Fulls.
Yeah. Anyways, and there's no queens, and I'm like, but if you walk around all the aisles, there's a lot of stuff missing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that the Rona has finally, the manufacturing aspect has finally caught up to us, because it's the same in the grocery store. We're missing half the aisles. We're still short on toilet paper. And, I mean, is this what it's like to live in, like, Iraq or something? Or?
It's the tariffs, man. It's all the tariffs and the sanctions.
Is that what it is?
And coronavirus. I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be a manufacturing holdup,
I guess.
I mean, we were just talking about the iPhone. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't the iPhone launch?
Get released, or
Yeah.
apparently it's ready to go. It's just 5G.
Right.
I'm excited.
I saw a commercial that AT&T wants you to have a 5G device, so they'll give you a free Note, a Galaxy Note 20, with like if you trade in your phone.
They'll punish you that way?
Dude, if you've seen the new Note, looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, whatever.
They're cool.
So yeah, I mean, I just it's hard to go shopping anywhere. But
Yeah.
then I get on Amazon and it's almost the same problem.
It's true.
But I did find some next day delivery. The only thing is that it's like Superman blue. It is blue, blue, royal blue.
Yeah.
Like
It'll make you happy though.
And my other ones were blue. like light pale blue, and I turned on the light after I woke up, and I thought my sheets were like glowing or something because I'd forgotten that they were
royal
new.
blue.
Like, what is happening?
Oh, you ripped them in your sleep.
Yeah.
I had a crazy nightmare.
Yeah.
As I woke up, I realized what I was doing. Okay, so I had this nightmare that I was holding a man hostage with an electric razor to his long hair. Okay.
Okay. Was
You know how intense
was
dreams,
it Samson? Like what? What?
You know how intense dreams are, even
Yeah.
when it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I remember holding this guy's head, holding the razor to like where his bangs are, right? And I remember like, you don't think I'll fucking do it? I'll do it. You know? And then I remember I waking up as I'm kicking Ashley in the leg.
Really?
Like I kicked her so hard. I felt so bad. And she's like, what are you doing?
Oh, I was gonna cut somebody's.
I was going to cut that guy's hair off. He was pissing me off.
The heck?
It was a weird hostage situation.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So real quick question.
Yeah.
I just remembered this story the other day, and so if you were to become, a millionaire or a billionaire overnight,
Yeah.
would there be something that you would indulge in daily that you could pay for? And for me, there's a couple things. I would pay someone to change my sheet every day because I hate putting on sheets.
It's true.
And I like it when they're new. I think that's fun.
It's a treat. It's a treat.
And I would pay a chiropractor every day.
I might have like a pianist in my house,
Just
playing the piano.
instead of an alarm clock.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or pay someone to wake you up too. Speaking of, just
Wake up like that.
just gently like nudge. Hey, Brian, it's time to wake up, man.
Hey, who the hell are you? Sorry, John couldn't come in today.
He called in sick. That motherfucker.
So it just reminded me of my ex-father-in-law. We were all together, and he asked his family that, and they gave their answers, and he was like, "You know what I would do?"
2 chicks at the same time.
I haven't seen that movie forever. He's like, I would have a brand new pair of socks every day, and I looked at him and I was like,
You don't need to be a millionaire.
You can already do that. Socks aren't that expensive. And he was like, oh yeah,
It's true. I will. Their new socks are like new sheets.
yeah, I know.
You don't realize how matted your socks are.
Unless you're buying the crazy expensive Nike ones,
Right.
it's like $10 for 7 pairs or something.
Right, with the 8th pair free.
Right.
In the package.
Yeah, and so you just cut down on your Diet Coke drinking, and you've paid for your socks.
Right. That's a weird one, man.
know.
I'd have socks
Yeah.
every day.
I'd have clean underwear every day. Well, you could do that too. Get a washing machine.
It would be nice to have someone cook meals.
Actually, yeah, I would totally indulge in that because then I could eat healthier and
You'd be forced to.
have it when I needed it. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. Being a fat billionaire.
There's not a lot of them, huh?
No, I think because they got, they can get a trainer and they can,
Have you ever seen that?
like The Rock is posting videos to Instagram all day of him working out.
Right.
I'm like, well, what do you do?
Do you do anything else? It's his job, man.
He goes and he films a movie for 20 days and then he comes back and
Works
works out.
the rest of the time.
Yeah.
How boring. Do you remember that time that Bill Gates was on
Oh yeah,
Ellen, I think,
And
or
he-
was it Price is Right or something?
it was
Or-
Ellen, and she was having him guess the
Yeah,
price of
and he's like, how?
macaroni
Yeah.
and cheese.
I don't know, $20 for a box? Like, oh, Bill,
Yeah, he was clearly embarrassed.
go farm yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of farming yourself, we got farmed in the A last week.
Yeah,
We haven't done an episode in a while, but
my power was out for
yeah,
5 days.
5 days.
5 days.
So we had a windstorm, and
It was a land hurricane
essentially,
without rain.
there was a little rain,
a little bit
but
of rain.
yeah, I have a hard time explaining exactly what happens. Something about cold air from Canada gets trapped behind our mountains and then gets pushed over the mountains and goes down the hill.
because we have hot air here.
Yeah.
because it's warm.
Mhm.
This Arctic front came over,
Right.
pushes down,
Right.
and the cold air falls down the mountain, creating wind.
Right.
But like 100-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, and it was. We had around 70 to 80 here in our
Yeah.
neighborhoods, and then a little further south, they clocked a gust at 110.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or 97, something like that. Or it was at the U, they did 114.
Yeah, the U had. Yep, they're in, which is weird because usually Farmington.
Yeah, and so we've had these occasionally before. This is my first because I haven't ever lived up north, and they're more prominent up where we live for whatever reason.
It's just weird because those Provo Mountains are huge.
Yeah, I can't. There's some reason that this range
It's more of a valley.
Is conducive.
Like the Provo Valley continues on; it never stops.
That's true.
Whereas the Salt Lake Valley is like a bowl. That's kind of I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist.
But anyway, we knew it was coming, but I didn't know what it was going to be. I just thought it was going to be a little windy. But I got woken up at around 6 a.m. I looked out my window and was like, it looks like the Weather Channel out there.
Yeah.
Everything's blowing. The trees are bent over. And just as I looked out there, just in time to see the across the street neighbor's giant tree fall and blow up all their power lines. It was crazy. And this huge bang. It didn't knock out our power, but like 5 seconds later, there was another bang, and then our power was out.
Yeah, Ashley, it was probably around the same time.
Probably.
Ashley got up at like 4 and looked out the window and saw like 4 transformers go like poof,
Oh, really?
poof, poof. Yeah. And then, it was out
Optimus
5 days,
Bumblebee, Transformers.
Yeah. Luckily, we cut our trees down last year because who knows if they would have.
Anyway, there was way more damage than I would have anticipated. There was some damage to houses, trees. There's still a tree on a house in one of my neighborhoods.
Next door here to us, I posted to Instagram, giant tree came down. So our roof is like a composite. It's like a vinyl-ish, you know? I saw someone's get peeled all the way off.
Oh, really?
Like it got up and under and just peeled the whole roof off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The neighbor across the street, a couple of them, they had a ton of shingles missing.
Yeah.
And then there was an apartment complex that must have had something similar happen because there were roofers out.
I was waiting for it to break our bay window. Every time there was a gust, you could hear it flex.
Really?
You could hear the glass, and if you touched it, you wouldn't want to sit by it.
That's how the really strong thunderstorms were in Texas. I remember we were one of the last ones I experienced there. We were at a pizza place, a buffet pizza place, and we were sitting next to the windows, and I think we were in the middle of like a tornado warning or close by, and we noticed the windows were kind of buckling in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So the manager's like, hey, can you move to the next table over? And you're like, yeah, we will. And then he comes back a few minutes later. You know what? You need to move just to the interior.
We got a bathtub in the back.
We're all going to die.
We just need you to go sit in the bathtub.
So anyway, I lost power for about 30 hours total. You did 5 days.
Yep.
I don't know. Our friend Ethan, who lives in the rich neighborhoods, got his back on instantly.
It was like 4 hours.
They were like, "Oh, we better get up there, and we don't want any Karens coming and complaining."
Right. It's totally true.
Do you want to know? So this whole Karen thing has become like.
Did you hear about the Karen mask?
Yes, but I was listening to NPR a couple weeks ago after leaving our podcast, and they were talking about the philosophy of Karen.
Wow.
It was like a whole episode dedicated to.
I did hear about the origin.
The different kind of Karens.
Yeah.
And I was like, does this delegitimize NPR? Like, what is?
Have you heard about the origin? It was a Reddit. It was a Reddit subthread of a guy complaining about his wife. That was years ago, like 3-4 years ago. And her name was Karen.
Of course.
So it started like trending on Reddit, and then it got picked up. But yeah, I mean, YouTube has Karen montages now.
Well,
in fact, I saw one: skaters versus Karens.
Oh, yeah, that one was. I see those videos and I'm like, what is wrong with these people? What kind of mental complexes do they have where they think that they're the end all be all?
Right. The one we can't decide on the name for the guy though. I've heard like Ken or
Dick
Richardson.
Richardson.
Have you heard of
Dick Pound? Love that guy.
Yeah, I love that guy. I haven't heard something comparable for a man.
Daryl?
Daryl. Keith. Maybe I've heard Keith. Anyway, I don't know. Well, everybody probably already knows.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away.
Yesterday I was chatting with my mom and I got a breaking news that said she had died, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I got it
And
in
my
the
mom was
car.
like, "What's wrong?"
And I literally went, "No!" And Ashley, she looked up from her phone, thought we were getting in a crash or something.
Well,
Kinda slow moving.
I don't know. I don't think my mom understood the gravity of what could potentially happen here.
You know, that's interesting because so Jake Vockler, who's been on the show, right? Self-proclaimed right wing. I don't think he is as much as he says he is, but whatever. I sent him a quick text just a few hours ago before the show about this. I asked him if let's see. In your opinion, should the Senate confirm a new SCOTUS pick before the election? And it turns out, after a bit of conversation, he didn't know why I was asking that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he vaguely remembers what happened in 2016, and I hope I'm not speaking too much for him. But we weren't doing the podcast then, but we were close.
Yeah.
In February of 2016, Scalia died. I believe it was February. You can fact check me real quick.
I think that's right.
Obama quickly nominates Merrick Garland.
Right.
Mitch McConnell and our own Orrin Hatch at the time, and many other Republicans, refused to even give him a hearing, let alone a vote.
Right.
Which at the time was kind of unprecedented. We've had it happen the other way, where Democrats refused to nominate or confirm a Supreme Court pick, and it was like in the early 90s. I think it was a similar situation. I can't really remember. Anyway, quite the uproar, though, because there was still 11 months left in Barack Obama's term. 1/8 of his term was still left.
Right.
He was elected to do that.
Right.
But Mitch McConnell's argument was, I think if I remember specifically, was we should allow the American people to decide who makes the pick. Because we're in an election year, 2016.
Right.
We should allow the American people to first select their president, who's then going to pick. So we were left with a vacated seat, which led to a lot of actually tie votes. Well, a lot is relative. But and eventually, because he controls the Senate, he won that, and they confirmed Neil Gorsuch, which I'm actually okay with Neil Gorsuch. He's a conservative, sure, but I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a Brett Kavanaugh, right? I think that Neil Gorsuch is a good guy. I think he like John Roberts could eventually become a moderate swing,
Right.
because now Trump, on the day of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death, said that he was for sure going to nominate someone, and Mitch McConnell, on the day of her death, said that for sure we're going to have a Senate vote.
Yeah, because it's different this time.
It's different, right? It's not, though.
I can't fathom. He's
evil.
I can't say this on but I'm going to tell you something that went through my mind last night. And I was just like, man, I don't have the courage to do it, but I hope somebody does. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have heard rumors that Mitt Romney has refused. I find it hard to believe that we're going to get a full Senate session when a chunk of them are campaigning right now. Now, after the election, so November 10th, the election's over, they could, they still have 2 months if Trump loses where they could confirm a Supreme Court pick. The hypocrisy here, though, is what's appalling. And I know that Republicans who are listening or conservatives who are listening are going to say that Democrats would do the same thing. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but I would argue
I don't think that they would have had Mitch McConnell not done this in the first place.
Right. The
turnabout's fair play.
The question is hypocrisy an excuse for hypocrisy?
That's kind of what I'm struggling with. Is I'm like, they did this to the Democrats.
Right.
You know, it only seems fair, but at the same time, maybe the Democrats should just own up to their name and you know, be the better side.
I agree, and I said that in 2016.
Right.
I said that if this happens again, I was an idealist. I said I don't think that this would happen. I don't think a Democrat majority leader would have done this. Right. It doesn't happen often that a Supreme Court justice dies or resigns in an election year.
Right. Except for the last two times.
Last 2 times. But I would like to play you a clip from Miss Lindsey Graham. This is from it was posted today, but this was in 2016. Let's make sure this audio works.
This is the
turn that
last
up.
year of a lame duck president. And if Ted Cruz or Donald Trump get to be president, they've all asked us not to confirm or take up a selection by President Obama. So if a vacancy
Wait a
occurs
second.
in their last year of their
So this is in 2016.
Go pause that for a second
Yeah.
because my first problem with that is President Trump or President Fishface have asked us. It's not checks and balances. That's
true. That's a really good point.
He is not.
So
He does not have control over the Senate.
that's true. So to give
That's
people
messed up
context
right
here,
there.
this is in 2016, and what he's referring to is why he is not pro a Supreme Court pick right now. And what Spencer's pointing out is that his argument is that the 2 leading frontrunners for the Republican ticket were Ted Cruz and Donald Trump at the time, had both asked him not to. And Spencer's point is that is bullshit because they're not in any position of power right now.
Ted Cruz!
So they shouldn't do it. So
That's what the separation of power is.
Right.
They're the I can't say
legislative
that. Branch. They are not held accountable. The president shouldn't be able to dictate.
And what's funny is he wasn't even president yet.
Yeah.
So he's taking orders from a non-president.
Right.
He shouldn't be taking orders from a president at all
Right.
because he's in a separate branch of government.
Right.
But anyway, let's continue here because he digs himself a hole and he knows he's doing it.
against them. I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination. And you could use my words against me and you'd be.
All right. So there you go, Lindsey. We're using your words against you. Now, believe it or not, Lindsey Graham has already made a statement. What do you think he said?
But there's another part to this. He did it again in
He did it again.
2018.
Here, I'll play it for you.
You're absolutely right.
If you listen to what Joe Biden said in Bush 41,
It's in 2018.
you should hold it over to the next election. Joe is right a lot. So I felt like I was doing the traditional thing there. When it came to Sotomayor and Kagan, I thought I did the traditional thing. Now I'll tell you this. This may make you feel better, but I really don't care. If an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term,
The last months.
and the primary
weeks.
process has started, we'll wait to the next election. And I've got a pretty good chance of being the judiciary.
You're on the record.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold the tape.
Okay. What do you think Lindsey Graham's statement was yesterday?
Well, I assume he's walking it back.
He didn't even walk it back.
Uh-huh.
He just blatantly said, I'm not doing that because the way Democrats treated Brett Kavanaugh changed the game.
Oh, shut up.
That's literally what he said. He's that far up Kavanaugh's ass that Kavanaugh's feelings were hurt so bad that it changed
Cried,
everything.
And he had to drink beer.
You know, Squee doesn't talk to him anymore. PJ is nowhere to be found because Kamala Harris made Kavanaugh cry.
Wow.
So, to all my conservative friends, my opinion is torn. I'm torn because part of me is like you saying, well, fairness would dictate that we do the same thing that you guys did.
Right.
The Constitution that I see is Donald Trump is the president.
Right.
So
It's his job.
it's his job as much as it was Obama's job to nominate Merrick Garland.
Man, these guys just bend the Constitution.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people can support them anymore.
Well,
I don't.
Here's what happens.
Get it.
Here's what's going on. And it's not the first time this has happened, obviously, in history. But I think I heard a statistic the other day, and it was 50% of Republicans believe that Democrats are a danger to the country.
But they don't know why.
And it was about, I think it was 30% of Democrats think that Republicans are a danger to the country. And once again, they don't know why.
Well, I actually...
I don't... A true Republican, a conservative, someone like Jake, I don't think is a threat to our democracy or to the Union. Now, someone pushing for a confederacy is literally a threat to the Union. So therein lies the problem, is that there's no... It's not even about trust. It's they think that they're literally bad for the country.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever a Democratic president were to pick would be detrimental to the Union. And there are Democrats who believe that about a Republican.
Well, here's what
I hope people hear me when I say that I don't have a problem with Neil Gorsuch. It should be Merrick Garland and not Neil Gorsuch. But so far, the way Neil Gorsuch has behaved on the bench and the rulings that he's been a part of, I understand.
Well, there shouldn't be politics in this position anyway.
No, you're right.
There shouldn't be at all. It should, but it is now. And what I think is dangerous about the current situation, I don't know. I think that there should be some way to make sure the court is divided or something, because having a leaning one direction,
right, really,
and what really also bugs me is Republicans will be, they're the first ones to be like, they shouldn't be in the Supreme Court, let the states decide,
right.
But now they want control of the Supreme Court,
right,
and
because no district court is deciding their way,
right,
and
we have a president who is unfit and mentally ill, is a sociopath, and he's got several of the justices in his pocket,
right,
in my opinion.
Yeah, well, he definitely has Kavanaugh. If he nominates someone, God forbid, like Mike Lee,
that's what his brother, Mike Lee isn't being considered, but Mike Lee's brother is.
Okay, I thought Mike Lee was on a list somewhere.
He might
Obviously,
be, but his
no
brother's ahead of that. But
okay,
there's just these whack jobs, and frankly, they would make the president's power unlimited. Because
and that's the Democrats' argument right now. The thing that's scary. So I have 2 points to make. First is I saw a comment from a conservative who said we need to restore balance to the court, and my head almost exploded because even with Ginsburg alive, it was 5-4 for conservatives.
Right.
It's as balanced as it gets. Actually,
we need to have balance by having 6-4.
It's 6-3. It'll be 6-3 now.
6-3.
Yeah. And so to your point about how can we restore balance to the Force?
The chosen one. We need Anakin. But no, he'll probably ruin everything. We need Rey.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Whoever the chosen one really was.
I think that, a 6-3 majority for either way is scary. We've talked about this, right now, Chief Justice Roberts has been acting as a swing vote, and he was nominated by Bush.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird, first of all.
Well, no, I don't really think it is anymore.
It shows you how far the right has gone.
I really don't think it is. I mean, yeah. I would feel more comfortable with anyone nominated by Bush, Reagan, Bush 2. I would actually be okay with all of them.
Yeah.
The zealots that are out there now are these Tea Party people their base is frightening to me.
And the thing that's fascinating here is when Lindsey Graham complains that Brett Kavanaugh was mistreated. There's a reason that Neil Gorsuch wasn't.
Right.
He's the one, if anybody deserved, quote unquote, to be mistreated, it was Neil Gorsuch. He stole the seat from Merrick Garland.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Right.
there was cause to treat Kavanaugh the way that they did.
Right.
There were allegations. He's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he cried in front of the Senate. Do we need that kind of temperament on the bench?
Right.
Right? Not saying that boys shouldn't cry, okay? But if you are that ruled by emotion,
he's kind of a little,
you know, like the way
he was pretty snappy with
the way that
Kamala Harris
yes,
too.
the way that he came in and flipped the pages and cried about his calendar. My point is this: if any Supreme Court pick was supposed to be mistreated by the Democrats, it should have been Neil Gorsuch.
Mm-hmm.
So the mistreatment, quote unquote, of Kavanaugh was justified.
Right.
Because otherwise they would have done it to Gorsuch. It's just that Gorsuch actually happens to be clean.
Right.
He happens to be a good guy.
Right.
So we'll see. There's hope. Ashley was like, maybe there's hope that he'll nominate someone, or no, maybe it was Jake. Jake said that, yeah. That maybe he'll nominate someone more moderate because he knows he can't win just with his base. Does that make sense?
Right.
So his staff might talk him into nominating someone more mainstream.
I heard rumors of a female. So, although wasn't it?
That'd be smart. A black female would be genius.
You know that you don't have to have any qualifications to be nominated to the Supreme Court?
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting, right?
Right. Especially when you compare them to the people who are on there.
You don't have to be a judge. You don't have to. You could go down to the bum factory in Salt Lake.
It's the same with
and
actually
pick out somebody and be like, hey.
Any appointed position. Ben Carson is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. He is a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Yeah, smart guy, but housing?
Urban development?
He has no idea what he's doing, and it's hilarious. It's obvious when he gets. It's like it's incredibly obvious.
Right.
It's like asking a jock about Star Trek. Obvious. Like they're just like, the Klingons.
Right.
They
lightsaber.
It's seriously. Yeah. It's so embarrassing. What is a HUD? I don't.
A HUD.
Sorry, I need to get with my secretary.
Let me go back to my mansion.
Look at my notes.
Not saying he doesn't deserve a mansion. It's a pediatric neurosurgeon. Good for you, man.
Sure.
But my point is that any appointed position requires nothing. People were pissed about Bobby Kennedy being Attorney General.
Linda McMahon.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, she's probably actually decently.
What is she doing again?
I don't know. She probably just wanted to distance herself. I can't remember.
I thought she was in the cabinet.
Oh, she left.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what it was. It was, I don't know.
So I already said this, but I mean, what do you think? Are you saying that the Democrats should take the high road again, like always, and allow them to do this?
Because it's getting tiresome. Because it seems like the Republican
Party
continue
to win,
just takes advantage of it,
right?
And it's scary to the point where people that I know that might even have leaned right at one point are saying they want to move to New Zealand.
Right.
And if you Google right now, should I leave the U.S., there's going to be articles from reputable news organizations like Forbes and CNN that tell you the best countries to get a visa in for Americans. This isn't like a post-election, Obama got elected, I'm moving. This is like genuinely people are concerned about uprising and civil wars and a president that could legitimately have ultimate power and do whatever the hell he wants, and he is a sociopath. If you support this president and not acknowledge that he is a sociopath, then you have never watched a single one of his talks or his speeches, whatever. It is so clear. Or maybe you just don't know what a sociopath is. But
or how a president should behave.
I guess.
Yeah. So I meant to tell you that one of the reasons the Democrats are scared about this is there's a really good chance that this election will be contested.
Well, yeah.
Either way. If Trump loses, he'll contest it.
Right.
If Biden loses, he'll contest it. And eventually, it's going to be Bush 2000, right?
Right.
It's going to end up in the Supreme Court for them to choose. And if Trump has 3 justices that he's put on the court out of the 6, it makes you wonder.
Well, they don't owe him anything.
It's true.
It's what really bugs me. They don't owe him anything. He can't take their job. I don't know. Like, fine, kick kiss ass to get to where you are, but then disavow him. You don't need him.
Right.
You're your own person. You owe him nothing. There's nothing he can do to you.
Which is how I feel about Gorsuch.
Right.
You know, I know that I keep singing his praises, and I don't know a lot about him,
Right.
but I'm just saying that's how I feel about him. I feel like he doesn't care about that now. He's just on the court to do his job.
Right.
Kavanaugh, he actually makes public statements and shit, which is weird.
Right.
You know? I mean, it should be noted that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's final wish was that her spot be filled by the next president. Like, she dictated that to her daughter.
Well, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it should be noted. You know what I mean?
I got to tell you, it's one of the emotions that I felt yesterday, and this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but I felt some anger towards Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I really did. I felt.
Oh, you text me about it.
I felt some agitation, and I was like, "What the hell? You have had health problems for years.
Yeah.
You've had cancer. Yeah, you survived, but you've had it. You're not doing great. You really want to bank this?" You know, you said, well, Hillary was supposed to win.
I didn't.
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
say that.
I know.
I said
know.
People thought
Right.
that Hillary was going
and maybe
to win.
that's what she thought. But it doesn't matter. Like, there was still a chance she wasn't going to win, and obviously,
Right.
and she could have stepped down.
I think that
She could have retired.
the timing is everything here, and the timing is delicate.
Yeah.
There was only a short period of time where the Senate was liberal under Obama,
Right.
right? And that's not to say that. I mean, Obama had, I think, 2 or 3 nominees himself, or justices that he nominated. But timing is everything. And so here's my point. My point is, we could say, fuck it, let them do it. He is the president. He was elected, right? And another justice doesn't die for 10 years, right?
Maybe.
So Biden's president for 8 years, let's say. No, Biden, actually not Biden. Biden would be president for 4 years, maybe another liberal for 4 years. And then 2 years into the next president's term, who will likely be a Republican,
Donald Trump Jr.
another justice dies.
Right.
Right? So timing is everything. And so I know you're mad at Ruth. I think that no one could have predicted the state we're in now. Right? And there was very little to say that we would have people like Mitch McConnell at the helm and Lindsey Graham, who is on the Judiciary Committee, you know?
Right.
So I personally am not mad at her or hold any grudge for not retiring, because I don't think no one would have known, you know? So, I mean, it could be a lesson for the future. Hey, if you are of this party
And this age, and you've had cancer.
this president is in power, take the opportunity to resign. But I mean, no one wants to accept their fate, right? That means you're accepting your fate as of death. Right?
I guess.
And that's hard. That's hard for anybody.
Yeah.
To say, well, I'm going to die, so for the greater good, I'm going to resign my post that I fought so hard to have.
Right.
You know?
But still.
Frankly, I don't think anything's really going to happen. We saw a bunch of abortion cases before the court this year, and nothing happened.
Has there I don't know. Has there ever been a time in our history when there's been this lopsided of a...
Oh, I'm sure. And by the way, the court doesn't have to be 9 people. It can go up to like, I can't remember. It can go up to like 30. Like, we can have a giant Supreme Court. And there's been talk of doing that.
Oh.
There's been talk as the next president, perhaps Joe could add, I think he has to have Senate approval, he could add justices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's one way of balancing the force. It is weird that 9 people, there's 300 million people here, and 9 people choose
They really should
the interpretation.
But, well, that, and I don't think that they were meant to have as much power as they have in the past, or they've come to have in the past few years.
Right.
And
Well, and the way they're allowed to make decisions is so limited, you know? Like, in Bush 2000, they could have said, we're going to have a new vote in Florida.
yeah.
Instead of ruling on, you know, dangling chads
Right.
and stuff like that. You know, I can't even remember the context of the case that was brought to them. But that's what it came down to. Was like, why don't we just have everybody vote again?
Right.
I mean, can we afford the paper?
Have you got your ballot yet?
No.
Okay. I'm just wondering if I'm behind the.
No.
I don't know. I just honestly it added stress.
Yeah.
For me.
What's your biggest fear with a lopsided court?
Well, just the people that are in power right now. You've got Trump, who honestly, if the Senate wasn't controlled by lunatics right now, I don't really care if Trump was president. He's an idiot.
Because they could be in check.
He's an idiot. I mean,
Right.
Don't get me wrong. He's dumb. He's racist. If you can't pick that out by now, then I don't know. I don't know what to think about people who support Trump still. I can't fathom it.
Right.
But with people like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and Jeffrey Dahmer, no, what's his name? The crazy guy that sucks.
There's a lot in the Senate.
Jim Jordan.
Oh, dude, he's in the House. But yes.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Still.
I just and with
See if he's gonna win.
statements from McConnell that are to the extent of I'm not taking that bill because the president has told me not to, or the president won't sign it. That's not his job. And this coalition of Republicans that are not putting the people first. They're putting their party and themselves first.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. And they're rallying these people behind them. And no one, in my opinion, a lot of these people don't know why. Like I told you about my mom. Not that my mom's she's not a Trump supporter or anything, but she tends to defend the right. And
Sure.
And we were talking about Joe Biden and his positions on things, and she was like, I just don't want there to be socialism. I don't want there to be and
Cool. No socialist is running. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
and so I said, well, what are you talking about? Like, what socialism are you talking about? Are you talking about healthcare? And she's like, well, no, because I've talked to her about that, and she kind of is thinking, our healthcare
everybody
system
should have
is
healthcare.
stupid.
Right.
And then I was like, so what? What socialism are you talking about? And she was like, well, all kinds of socialism, all the kinds. I was like, what? And she just like, I don't know. And I was like, exactly.
Right.
And this is the scare tactic it's honestly a scare tactic.
Right.
Because I can't see any presidential candidate who wants to be a communist or socialist country.
Right.
It wouldn't work. You can't just as a president, you can't just be like flip a switch.
Right.
We're socialists now.
Right.
We're the socialist party of
Right.
America.
And our Constitution prevents that. That's why it's so beautiful. That what we've said it so many times when people use examples like Venezuela, the one thing they leave out is the authoritarian dictator.
Right.
Who was allowed to become authoritarian by their legislators.
Right.
Right.
Who I'm assuming were probably right-leaning conservatives.
Or just in his pocket.
Is normally the case.
Just in his pocket in general.
And so
yeah.
That's what scares me the most is you've got this Senate full of of yokels and their devotion is cult-like, but at the same time, they don't like Trump.
Right.
Because they've said
They've
so.
said it.
They've demoralized,
including Lindsey.
Yeah, the things that they've said about him, they must have had to get on their knees and do things for Trump.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham called him a race-baiting
lunatic
or demagogue.
Yeah.
I can't remember. During the primaries of 2016,
and it's just this. It's scary because I just feel like he could have ultimate power, and we could be at war with countries. We could. I don't know. What could they do? What? I guess what would interrupt our lives in such a way? I guess just nothing would change, or.
I mean, that's what I was going to ask you. Like your biggest fear with the Supreme Court change, right? A conservative court is more likely to leave things like Citizens United in place that allows super PACs and corporations to donate dark money.
Right, and
So
the cycle just keeps continuing.
Right.
And I mean, why do they have these organizations? What legitimate reason is there besides taking people's money and giving it to themselves? Or there's no reason. There's no reason to have the super PACs.
No.
You know?
It's dirty. It's dirty. They're more likely to allow lobbying, even though Trump is opposed to lobbying. I believe that conservatives are more pro that simply because they're more pro, quote, I'm doing air quotes around this, free enterprise, right? Even though it makes people less free.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
votes follow money. They don't follow people.
We have, in this country, what is it? 1% of the population that holds 90% of the money.
I think it's even more than that now. I think they hold like 95% or something like that.
And why? Why?
I don't know.
You know, the economy...
I find it hard to believe that the founding fathers looked at free enterprise and capitalism and had this in mind.
They keep leaning on, well, the economy's great, the stock market's good. But it's not. It's not good for anybody but that 90% of...
I read that stat last
10%.
time, right? Nobody has money in the stock market that votes.
Right.
The vast majority of the money in the stock market is from that top 1%.
And I just have... I personally have found that the people who are supporting these people, they don't really know why. They just know that... Like my grandma said that one day, that Democrats are evil.
Right.
And when you ask them why, they're like, abortion. Like,
right. I mean,
that's it?
Yeah. And, 15 years ago, it was gay marriage.
Gay marriage, socialism.
Well, you guys, Joe Biden couldn't be further from socialism.
He's not, like, Bernie Sanders is a declared Democratic socialist. Joe Biden might as well be 80s Republican.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I
he is so far from socialist that he's not even... So it's funny. They're playing on the ignorance of people so hard. Like they'll believe it. They'll believe it if we say
like
that.
Immigrants are coming to take your jobs that you don't want. What else is there? They're gonna take your guns like they have all the times before.
Right.
They're
well, his latest one is I talked about it last time. Is the suburbs. We're gonna prevent minorities and poor people from moving into the suburbs to ruin the white woman's lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's Trump's new mantra.
I mean, I there are radical sides to both parties. But I have found that the radical left is not nearly as radical and detrimental as the fascists and racists that are on the right. And these are not hidden people. The alt-right, the alternate right is what they're called. They are racist. They are
that's their paradigm.
They get together in their meetings, and they talk about how they want to divide the country between the white people and the black people. If you ask them, do you like black people? They will say no. They won't beat around the bush.
Right.
They will say, no, we think black people are stupid.
Right.
Hopefully no one takes
that takes
they tune in right there.
Right.
What the Our Take podcast, we think.
Yeah.
But the radical left is what? Like
Medicare for all?
Yeah.
That's radical. Healthcare?
That's the radical. Like, it just seems like the left wants to take care of people and the right
wants to stop that.
Wants to exploit something. Like, they don't.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And the best part is that Trump's not even a Republican.
No.
So the fact that these Republicans have attached their lives, they are going to die with Trump. You're going to be remembered as the one who stood by an authoritarian demagogue.
And what I wondered today is, at what point, if there ever is a point, do people realize that they were on the wrong side of history? Like, do you think that there was a time right after the Holocaust that some Germans were like, I was on the wrong side of this, wasn't I? Or do you think that they just go to their grave thinking that killing the Jews or caging Mexican children is...
Well, either way, they justify it, right?
Right.
I mean, I obviously I can't speak for all German citizens in the 1950s, but I think it's easy for them to all say we were duped, right? Instead of taking ownership, we were duped. We were misled. We were lied to.
Well, but there's some truth to that.
There is some truth to it, but the difference is Republicans can't claim that now because the press and the left has been calling out every dirty thing that he's done.
Right.
Right?
But that's fake news.
Right. So you can't claim being duped when... And there were Germans at the time who were pointing it out.
Well, yeah.
And they were killed.
Right.
But... So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think, just generally speaking about people, no, they never acknowledge when they're on the wrong side of history. They'll make a reason because you can't fathom that in your head that you were wrong all this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard thing to do. That's hard for anybody to do.
Right.
So to admit you were wrong for
I guess if
majority of your
for
belief
some
system,
reason it turns out that climate change is a hoax and Trump was the savior of the world, I guess I would have a hard time admitting that I was wrong. So
yeah, exactly, absolutely.
I don't know,
but Anyway, go ahead.
Speaking of climate change, I did want to dive into this since we're on such cheery topics today. As you know, California, Oregon, and Washington are essentially ablaze. They're gone. They're all on fire.
En fuego.
And I don't know if you knew this. We've talked about hurricanes before, but we have gone through all the hurricane names for this year.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
I believe this is the fastest time in recorded history that we've gone through all the names.
How does it work again? Remind me.
What?
The name... It's girl names?
No, it's just names. They have a list, and they don't do every letter. They do skip a few here and there, but it's selected in advance. And normally, you don't get through them all.
Right.
It did happen in 2005, where they got through them all, but that was closer to the end of hurricane season. We're actually just at the beginning of hurricane season.
Yeah, we're right there.
And we have had A through W, essentially.
Oh, my gosh.
And we've already had, after that, they start to do the Greek alphabet. And we've already had an alpha and beta named.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? Now...
You just go to Roman numerals after that?
I don't know. God willing, that doesn't happen. Now, the past hurricanes have caused damage, historic flooding, to the point where people are leaving the coasts. And they're like, we can't live there anymore because the hurricanes are taking away the land. Apparently, Louisiana loses a football field worth of shore every day.
Shut up.
That's
that's so crazy.
Right. Oh. And so the fact that we are well, specifically our president right now, I don't know if you saw this clip with the governor of California.
Yeah, I shared it
where
to
Trump
Facebook.
smirks and says, it'll get colder.
And then the one guy says, I wish science agreed with you. And Trump says,
I don't think science knows.
I don't think science knows. He openly denied science on television.
Now,
like,
I don't understand.
There was no innuendo. He didn't imply it. He said it. I don't think science knows.
I don't know how you can deny that the climate is changing when we have had historic wildfires 3 years in a row. The summers have been recorded hotter every year, hotter and hotter. We've had more hurricanes, more tornadoes, more everything, and that's just the U.S. Don't forget that Australia had not only did they have record-breaking fires, but right after that, they had record-breaking rain.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care if you're ignorant enough to think that we had nothing to do with climate change. Whatever, fine. You believe that your diesel truck and all the emissions that we put in the air doesn't have any impact on it. Fine. But regardless, the climate is changing.
Right.
And the changes are not good changes.
Right. People are dying.
It's not getting nicer outside, I guess is what I'm saying. It's getting hotter and dangerous-er.
Yeah.
Especially here. And I don't know, maybe the climate, it does come in cycles.
Well, we know it does.
Right. And that would make me think that maybe that's the reason there weren't a lot of people on this continent.
No, we have a very narrow window where humans survive in terms of hot and ice age, right? The window is very small. And when you talk about the cycles, yes, but if you just Google it. You know what? If you don't believe Google, DuckDuckGo it, okay? And just do some research about the cycles of the
Go to the
Earth.
library and pick out a book.
Yeah, get the almanac. Yeah, because, yes, there are clear cycles over tens of thousands of years of cooling and heating. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was in the early 1800s, we were just coming out of the last ice age.
Right.
You know, and the difference is since the 1920s or so, that nice little sine curve that we have is no longer a sine curve. It's like off the chart. It's asymptoting.
So you mean right around the time we invented combustion engines and started
it's steam and coal and oil. Yeah, it's off. It is off the charts. And people.
Have you?
And people. In fact, I did this once. I overlaid a population map with a heating map and a CO emissions map, a carbon emissions map.
Right.
They basically follow the same chart, right?
Right.
Because people, we expel carbon. Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's a lot. Our population in the 1940s of the world was like 3 billion.
Right.
And we're about to crest 8.
I thought it was 9.
You know, whatever it is, it's more than doubled in less than a century. So the amount of carbon we're putting out and the things we eat that create carbon as well.
And when we fart.
Yes.
And when the cows fart.
The cows fart.
Methane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever put your mouth on the back of a tailpipe of a car when it was running.
I totally got to do that, though.
But it kills you.
Right.
So
fast.
Why would that not affect the planet?
You can look up YouTube videos of people putting garbage bags on a tailpipe and watch how fast they fill up. Now, I understand that not all of that is, gaseous air. But I encouraged a guy on Facebook to put a bag over it and then take that bag and put it over his head and just breathe for a few minutes. And people called me mean for saying, why are you trying to kill Paul?
Did you kill a man?
I said, I'm not trying to kill Paul. I'm trying to encourage him to realize that cars are bad for the air.
Right.
If you take that same bag and breathe that air, well, where do you think the air is going? To space?
Because if it did that, then we'd all be dead. Because there wouldn't be an atmosphere. So what happens to it?
Right.
I just don't know if people don't understand basic physics or science. Sorry, it's not even science. It's just it's fill up a water balloon. It's the same freaking thing.
Right. No, stand over a campfire.
Right.
Can you breathe over a campfire? When there's no wind and the smoke is going straight up into your face, can you breathe?
Right.
That's a campfire burning wood.
Right. And a car is nothing more than a controlled campfire.
No,
anyway,
it's ridiculous.
That kind of irked me off this week, and I don't know. I don't know what I can do really besides recycle and buy an electric car when the time comes.
I mean, it's
but I don't know.
There's if all of us took simple steps, right? I saw a video the other day about a guy who saved all his plastic for a year. And he couldn't believe how many toilet paper packages he had.
Right.
I can't remember. It was like 17 or something like that. The plastic wrap. And so he started a company that ships toilet paper in recycled cardboard boxes instead of in plastic. I'm like,
I
all right.
I use too much plastic right now, and part of the problem is that our neighborhood does not recycle plastic,
Yeah.
and that has to do with China and them using it and what have you.
Beef.
But as soon as there are aluminum cans of water or whatever it may be readily available, I will switch to that. And I don't, just so everyone knows, I don't know if everyone knows the breakdown process of these materials, but
Yeah.
doesn't.
Styrofoam doesn't. It's
Cardboard
here forever.
cardboard breaks down relatively quickly. We recycle a lot of cardboard, and that's great. But
It's easy to recycle.
honestly, if we didn't recycle cardboard, it wouldn't be.
It's wood.
It wouldn't be that huge of a deal.
Right, it's wood.
It would melt in the rain
Right.
and return to the earth, and it would take less than a year probably.
Yeah.
Now, aluminum, it takes a lot longer to break down, but it does break down because it is. It's an element. It
doesn't break down in the recycling process. It can be used.
No,
over
and that's
over
what's
and
crazy.
over again.
Aluminum. I think the stat is that something like this, that the can of Dr. Pepper that you're drinking, you could be drinking that same can within like a month or less.
Right.
That's how fast they recycle that stuff.
Yeah.
So
But so many companies don't.
Right.
So many bottling agencies. It's cheaper to get new aluminum, which is
Right.
because of a lobby,
Of course.
right? Because it shouldn't be.
No.
It shouldn't be cheaper to mine
No.
metal
Doesn't make any sense.
than to melt it down.
Right.
You know.
But plastic is petroleum, which, if you are familiar with the dinosaurs, is oil, and it's takes millions and millions and millions of years to break down, just like the dinosaurs that give us the oil that we use today for our cars.
Right.
So when you throw out that bottle instead of recycling it, it doesn't break down in a year. It doesn't break down in a month, or 2 years, or 10 years, or during your lifetime, or your children's lifetime, or your children's children's lifetime.
Yeah.
It doesn't break down.
Here you go. I got it right here.
And even when it does, it will break down into smaller pieces. And do you know how much plastic that we're finding in?
Go to a landfill.
Well,
yeah.
in the oceans, they're
Yeah.
finding that 90% of sea animals have plastic in their stomachs, and it's coming to the point where we're having plastic in our stomachs
because we're eating the fish.
right.
Yeah. So I just Googled how long does it take for a plastic bottle to decompose. 1,000 years.
Right. So
1,000.
it's so I mean, it's just we're addicted to plastic. We need to stop, but there's no alternate right now. And you know what? Even if there was, there would probably be some lobby that would. Can you imagine how fast we'd advance technology if we could just get rid of politics in it, get rid of this whole, it's going to take our jobs. Like, okay, well, there'll be new jobs. I mean, what if the people who built wagons were like, well, we can't do cars. It's going to take our job. And I'm sure they did.
They did. They absolutely did.
But
They found new jobs.
right.
Right.
And it's just the circle, man. And I just wish aliens would come and invade. And
So I'm still hanging out on this website, thebalancesmb.com. It's just showing you how long. Look at this one. Styrofoam does not biodegrade.
ever.
It's just listed as does not biodegrade.
So
I mean, there are
what do
things
you
up
do with
to, let's see, the longest one on here, fishing line takes 600 years.
it? Serious.
Um,
And I feel like that's something that could easily be replaced with something organic that would break down.
fishing line?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, why does it need to last more than an hour?
Well, yeah.
You cast.
Like, just use kite string, man.
Right.
what? Yeah.
Have it biodegrade in the water so we don't have fish getting caught up in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, cities that don't recycle, they don't make any sense to me. But at the same time, if the companies aren't recycling, if the bottling agency for Pepsi in your state does not accept recycled cans,
right?
then
It's not entirely your city's fault, and if the companies aren't making money to recycle, then I mean there is some economics to it. Like,
Sure.
what are you going to do?
right?
And so we just need to start making things not out of plastic, out of more recyclable things. But anyway, that's been weighing on my mind this week. It's been quite annoying.
No, it's tough. I get it.
Oh, that was, you know what this was all leading to? My real topic was the way the fires were started. Now, real quick, going back to people who deny climate change, last year when we had the crazy fires in Australia, I had someone say, well, you know, the liberals will tell you that climate change started the fires, but actually people started it. And I'm like, there are no liberals who said climate change started the fires. The sun didn't come down and beam a freaking, solar flare and start a fire. I mean, it doesn't matter what starts them.
Right.
It's that they're so hot. It's so hot because it's hotter than it's ever been.
It's not
that there's
raining.
so many dead plants that it just boom. Tinderbox.
I mean, you could make the argument that we are having more storms on drier areas, and lightning creates fires.
Well, that's what I looked at what started all the California fires, and a ton of them were lightning. But
the real famous one.
But the one that burnt, it says burning. I don't know if it's even out yet.
No.
8,600 acres. Was triggered by a pyrotechnic device by a freaking gender reveal.
Yep.
Which this is not the first time that this has happened. No. This has already happened. We already know.
We've discussed.
We already know
this
is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people have died. Remember the grandma who died from the explosion?
Right.
Yeah.
But this isn't even the first wildfire started by a gender reveal. Now, my question is, what the hell do we do with these people?
I don't know.
I mean, yes, it was an accident. But it was a stupid accident. But do we ruin their lives? Because I'm like, I don't know, man. It kind of seems like maybe.
We were Ashley and I were talking about this one because a firefighter died.
Right.
And now there's speculation that these people could be charged with some form of murder. Yeah. And I got a little bit torn on that one. I said, well, I don't know. I mean, if I think I used the example, if I was choking and someone called the police, and that police officer got in a car accident on the way over, right? Then Ashley brought up an example like, or if someone was doing CPR on you and they lost their balance and hit their head,
right?
I get a little torn. Does charging them criminally? Obviously, these people don't need rehabilitation, right?
I don't know.
What they need, what society needs, and what we do a lot more of is make examples of people to dissuade you from doing the same thing. Like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to use tannerite to announce the gender of my baby. I had that in mind, but then this firefighter in California died.
Right.
So I don't think I'm going to do it that way, and it's not because the firefighter died. It's because the people went to jail for 20 years.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I don't know
what
do
the answer is.
Do we put them in jail for 20 years? I'm sure that they're going to face some sort of financial...
Right.
But
even monetary damages. So what? So the state garners their wage for the rest of their life? Great.
It'll never get paid back.
No.
Obviously, people who are shooting guns at tannerite to reveal a gender probably aren't very well educated. They'll make a lot of money.
Right.
So I don't know. But part of me is like, these people are stupid. They should face severe consequences. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I guess I could just as easily. Well, I don't know, because it was a stupid thing to do.
But yeah, we punish people for doing stupid things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of stupid.
Yeah.
AP News.
Yeah.
This story caught my attention.
Okay.
Poll workers told to act surprised.
Wait, like a strip club?
No, like a if where
God, the English language is so stupid.
If you're at a voting place,
right,
and you're a worker there,
right,
you're told to act surprised if asked about no mask.
What do you mean?
So, poll workers who signed up to work the November election in a county near St. Louis were urged in an email to, quote, act surprised if voters asked why they aren't wearing masks given the coronavirus threat. But the elections director said Thursday that the message was misinterpreted. What the email said in full was, you may act surprised that you don't have a face mask on properly and then apologize as you put the mask on. Wear your mask correctly until the voter leaves the polling place. Please do this every time a voter says something to you. Okay?
How did that get misinterpreted? It seems pretty...
It's pretty cut and dry, right?
They miss a comma or something?
What I'm confused about is, why are you telling poll workers it's optional to wear a mask?
Yeah, and they're normally old, too.
So literally in the email it says, you need to have a mask nearby, like hanging on your ear or down around your chin. And then if someone asks you, why isn't your mask on? Like, who's going to ask that? Pretend you're at a polling place.
Karen.
Pretend you're at a polling place and you have a mask on.
Yeah.
You get up to the table to hand in your card to get a ballot, and the person's not wearing a mask. Would you say something?
If I was a Karen, I would. I'd be like,
right?
Hey, I have to wear one to Walmart. Why don't you wear one here?
Do you mind pulling your fucking mask up for a second? Like, who's going to say that?
I don't know.
So why even make this?
Someone will.
Why even make this an optional policy? It's astounding. It's absolutely astounding.
Well,
we know that masks help.
Well, we know that climate change is real, but it's not apparently, and masks don't help apparently, even though it's been proven that they do over and over and over and over again. But
it's unreal.
For some reason, it's against our constitutional rights to be forced to wear a mask.
But if you're a poll worker,
but to wear pants is okay.
You got to require that.
I just don't.
It's unbelievable that you would make a policy that says you have to have a mask nearby, and then if someone asks, just act surprised, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me put it on."
I've been spreading Rona this whole time. But
gosh, unbelievable.
I don't know, man. I'm tired of living on this planet. I need aliens to come get me.
I have a little bit of good news.
Oh.
An update for Salt Lake City Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Alexis Scott from Black Lives Matter Utah met with the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Salt Lake and had a very useful conversation, actually. Okay. So that's nice, just so people know that Black Lives Matter Utah is doing good work with the police. They're working with this union, basically. However, I shared a story to Facebook. I can't remember if we talked about it on the show, about a man who was in his own yard and approached by police, and a dog was sicked on him and damaged his leg in Salt Lake. He was in his own yard. He was obeying commands. In fact, when the dog started to bite him, he still kept his hands behind his back. He wasn't cuffed. That officer also kicked him after he was cuffed. And our Sim Gill, the district attorney, who has justified almost every other shooting in Salt Lake, says that this one's wrong and the cop's going to face charges.
What? Sim Gill?
So, good news there. The video is pretty cut and dry. The guy was obeying commands and he's like, get him. And he was telling the dog, like, good boy. And he's tearing this guy's calf off.
Why? What?
It's just clearly
he has a body cam and it's on.
He just wanted to do it.
What did he think was going to happen?
He probably hadn't used his dog in a while. Yeah.
What? What?
I don't know, man. But that's the good news. The good news is he's actually going to be prosecuted as a criminal for, I believe, aggravated assault. So.
Well, that's good.
And I don't know if you saw Breonna Taylor, her mother got a settlement from the city.
Yeah, it was like $12
million, which is interesting to me, though, so the city admits wrongdoing to the tune of $12 million, but still haven't arrested the police officers who fired the shots. They fired them. They fired them from the police department and paid the mom a bunch of money. But, I mean, so you're saying something wrong was done, right? Like,
really settled. We're admitting that's kind of like, okay, we did it wrong. Here's some,
but it doesn't rise to criminal. I mean, $12 million settlement. Why would you settle? Anyway, it's good news for Breonna Taylor's mother. She gets to live a comfortable life now, but I still don't know why they haven't been arrested. They were firing recklessly. Did you know that some of the bullets went into other people's houses or like apartments in there? That's how recklessly the cop was firing. Anyway.
Well, when we come back, we're going to take a break, finally. I'm sure we're like 6 hours in already.
Probably.
I'm getting so heated up that I'm actually sweating a little. When we come back, I do have some random headlines for you. I don't believe any of them are corona-related, and I don't think any of them are political. I almost picked a political one, but I was like, you know what?
We do enough of that.
We don't need that. We don't need that. So we're going to talk about asexual snakes and T-Rex and cats and drones when we come back. And we'll probably do the wheel of things that keep Spencer up at night.
Yes.
I had a new one, but I do not remember what it was. It was right as I was dozing off last night.
Of course.
And I was like, I really should get my phone and type it in, but I was like, I'll remember.
You could make the argument that it didn't keep you up then.
I guess, but
so
still.
it doesn't belong on the wheel.
And maybe we will do right wing, which wing, or whatever we're calling it. Anyway, all that, and that's all when we come back.
All right, listen up, nitwits. Who here is tired of illegal space aliens taking our good Earth jobs? Yeah! Me too. So, if I'm re-elected, I promise to build a really big Dyson fence across the southern border of our solar system. Yeah! And furthermore, by golly, I promise to cut taxes for the rich and use the poor as a cheap source of teeth for aquarium gravel.
Yeah, that'll show those poor.
Why are you cheering, Fry? You're not rich.
True, but someday I might be rich, and then people like me better watch their step.
Let's just find Bender.
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
Welcome back. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, tell us.
Write us an email.
No, I actually would prefer a handwritten letter with
sealed with wax,
with a stamp. Yes.
Yes. Every time I see a little ad for those like wax seals, I'm like, I should get one.
We had one. I had
Who
one.
did? You had one?
Me and my ex, wife. We almost used them for our wedding invitations, but we found it to be
a giant pain in the ass.
more laborious process than
I
think we used them for a few. It wasn't hard. It was just kind of it would have taken.
It's tedious.
Well, not even that. But yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You have to melt the wax and then stamp it.
You had a legitimate pen pal, where I'm talking old school, where the note is written on the envelope, right, and it's folded up, so there's no extra paper. It's just break the seal. There's the note.
I don't think I've ever got one of those.
Me neither, but I want one. You want to be a pen pal? You want to start writing each other letters?
This seems really stupid, but yeah.
We do everything else. We started writing a cartoon.
That's true. We need to get rolling on that.
We have a band.
We do.
We have a podcast.
Yeah. What else is there?
I started writing a book.
A tell-all book?
A tell-all. No, we coined the... Well, I think we did. I haven't been able to find it in many other places. But we coined the concept of the tree of empathy.
Have you got it patented yet or copyrighted?
I need to send it into the Library of Congress. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about our projects.
I don't know.
It's random headlines.
I don't know what's going on. Oh no, there is empathy trees all over Google.
Well, I mean, empathy trees, but has anybody, actually expanded on
There's
it?
a legitimate article called Growing a Tree of Empathy.
Oh shit. But we're writing a book.
Oh. I think this is a book. Not sure. Anyway, all right. That was just so too charged for me last. I'm like exhausted. But here's the thing.
But random headlines are fun.
Yeah. Well, this one is called Bones to Pick for $8 million. So, did you know?
It sounds like a good segment we should have. Bones to Pick.
It only sounds good because it sounds like a Jeopardy question.
Yeah.
Bones to Pick for $8 million.
Potent potables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was a T-Rex named Stan?
I did not. That's cool, though.
Well, he weighed at least 7 tons and had eyes the size of baseballs.
7 tons?
Yeah, and his bite could have crushed a car.
Baseball.
He bore scars from fierce prehistoric battles, and all of this could be yours for $8 million.
Wait a second. He had scars? Like on his fossilized
guess.
bones?
I guess that's what it's saying.
Stan the man. T-Rex.
No, Stan
the T-Rex.
Stan the T-Rex. So he went up for auction. His nickname is Stan. He's getting fresh life thanks to Christie's The Auction House.
Christie's.
Wait.
The Auction
House. No. Sorry. Some lady's name's Christie.
South
She
Dakota.
owns the auction house. They put his bones on display starting Wednesday through floor-to-ceiling windows at its Midtown Manhattan gallery at advance for putting it up for auction. So I guess the starting bid is $8 million?
Wow.
I mean, that's a steal, right?
I think so.
What else can you get for $8 million that's millions of years old?
I don't know.
Millions of years old, or I guess.
Oh, by the way,
7,000 years old.
7.6. That's metric tons, by the way. So he actually weighed 16,875 pounds.
That's really fat.
That's huge.
Makes me feel better about my.
I mean, how
300
much does
pounds.
how much does a bus weigh? You know what I mean?
Five cows. That's how
5 cow bus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, well, I mean, that's the one thing Jurassic Park got right. The rest is all complete BS, especially the raptors. Raptors don't look like that, and they're tiny.
They're small, but they're smart. They're savvy.
Clever girl.
They're a clever girl.
There was a mention of that on the American Dad I was watching yesterday.
Of clever girl?
Yeah. Anyway, so if you want to go to New York and bid for this T-Rex,
where are the proceeds going to Stan's posterity? The birds?
I don't know. I don't even know why
to fund the museum, perhaps?
Oh, sorry. He's 67 million years old, not just a couple million.
67. Well, that would make sense. There were no dinosaurs just a couple million years ago.
Yeah. Not even 7,000 years ago. Discovered in 1987. Discovered by oh my gosh! It was discovered by a paleontologist named Stan.
I was going to say,
but how weird is that they both had the same
that's
name?
Super strange. I mean, because they found it engraved on his pelvis.
Yeah, he was actually wearing
Stan underwear.
Well, that and a chain, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Cats. Spartacus. All these animals have names today for some reason. A 40-pound. Now I don't know why this is a house pet.
40 pounds?
Yeah, it's not a cat. It's a freaking
mountain lion.
It's a African serval cat. Hold on, I'll send you this link here.
40-pound cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Oh,
is this it?
Yeah. No.
That's just more fat
no,
cats.
That's an actual fat cat. This is an African cat.
Okay. Oh man, look at that. That's cool. All right.
So I don't know how you get to have one of these as a pet, but
look at he's getting coffee.
He's really smart, clever girl.
That's a great name for a 40-pound cat.
Spartacus? I don't know.
Come on.
I guess. So he escaped, which is actually terrifying.
That is terrifying.
So he was spending days in the New Hampshire wild, it says. The cat was trapped near its home and is in good health. The animal has been returned to its owner, Dean King, who previously told the AP that Spartacus had run away on Wednesday after getting spooked by the family dog. Really?
Must be a big-ass dog.
I guess.
It's a Doberman.
Like a freaking bull mastiff or something. King adopted Spartacus from a Florida zoo 4 years ago. How do you adopt an animal from a zoo?
I don't know. Can I get a kangaroo?
That would be awesome. I love kangaroos. I pet a kangaroo when I was in Australia. Did I tell you that?
No. They have kangaroos in Australia?
What?
I mean, I didn't. Australia has all like the weird indigenous animals.
It's literally on their. Is it on their flag? No, it's on their. It's on their planes, and it's actually. You know how our Air Force has a star for their roundel on all our airplanes, so they know their roundel has a kangaroo in the middle.
Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Did you get in a fight with one? Did you see that video? The guy punched one. Remember?
What?
The guy punched a kangaroo. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that video is hilarious. But what's even more funny is the video that they found and connected to it, because there's the kangaroo getting in this fight with this guy, and then they cuts to a video where there's a kangaroo outside this guy's window, like banging on the window, and they're like, he's coming for round 2.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, the family owns the cat legally and has a permit from the state's Department of Fish and Game.
Why fish and game?
I don't know.
Why not like dog and game? Like, why do they separate fish? Is fish not game?
Well, I don't know.
Game can't be in the in the water.
What is game? Shouldn't it just be
like deer?
Animals?
Deer is game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so why did the Fish and Game give them the license for the cat?
Maybe fish doesn't fall under game.
I
you're
guess
asking
not.
another question. I'm asking
Well,
why
either
is
way.
fish separated? You're asking why does fish and game give the permit?
You know, maybe just having the Department of Game sounded weird, so they're like, you know what we need to do?
Just put fish in.
Put fish in front of it, so it
It's
doesn't
like
sound stupid.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yeah.
It was just alcohol and tobacco, and they're like, AT.
That
doesn't work.
We
Can we
need
be in charge of guns too?
Sure.
And bombs?
That is weird.
It is super weird.
What do you deal with? Well, some days marijuana, some day explosives,
Some days bootleg,
Yeah. They do all sorts of weird stuff. Anyway, isn't that what the Breaking Bad guy was?
No, he's DEA.
God, there's too many departments.
Yeah.
Can't one just do it all? Anyway, so yeah, his cat is back. Thank goodness. I've been personally worried sick
About Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Now, drones are a thing. Perhaps
Sure.
you've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
But drones in prison is a new thing. So a drone carrying marijuana, cigarette lighters, and cell phones got caught in a net above a Mississippi prison fence, resulting in the arrest of 2 men.
Oh, that's fantastic.
John Travis Ross of Vicksburg and Joshua Ray Corbin of Utica made initial court appearances Tuesday on charges of conspiracy and what was the conspiracy?
Getting drugs
I
into
don't know. Attempting to smuggle contraband into Central Mississippi Correctional Facility.
That's just
I guess they weren't very good drone pilots.
innovative, man. Yeah, you didn't see that net.
How are they going to stop that? Like, that's going to keep happening, right? The drones can go pretty high before, as long as the wind's right, they just drop it out. And
They got the net.
They're going to have to start covering the tops of prisons.
You could have totally saved this for lighter news.
Oh, I forgot.
I love how they included the lighter. Like, hey, man, I got the weed, but I ain't got no lighter in here.
I can't eat it.
Oh, it's good.
They're going to get caught. Right? How do you smoke weed in prison?
I don't know.
The smell is so potent.
You just give some to the guards.
It would just be like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah. There's a picture of them examining the drone. I mean, that drone must have been pretty expensive.
That sucks. And it's too bad that they caught the guy on the outside.
I know, right?
Why didn't he run away? He's like, no, I can't leave my drone.
I know. I don't know.
Just get the hell out of there, man.
Stupid. Now, did you know ball pythons are snakes?
I did know that.
But did you know that they live really long?
I did know that.
Like, this one is 62 years old.
It's so old.
So it's in a St. Louis zoo, and it laid 7 eggs, which, first of all, is abnormal because they don't usually lay eggs after their 60s.
Okay.
But what's really crazy is she hadn't been around a male in 2 decades.
Ooh, life finds a way.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Now, apparently, this isn't the first case of pythons reproducing asexually.
That's crazy.
Also, I guess pythons can store sperm. How do you do?
Like from past sex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm gonna hold on to a vial in my rib for later.
Right. So they lay 7 eggs. They're like, then they like wiggle, like, let's get that sperm
Yeah.
out of there.
How do they? Is it an accident that it just gets stuck somewhere, or
Right? Are they conscious of it?
yeah, like, or do they just move a certain way and it's like, oh no, I'm gonna lose it.
Asexual reproduction that's fascinating.
That's how Godzilla reproduces, if you believe.
In Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I believe in Godzilla.
His
yeah.
name's Stan.
Yeah. Oh, not all the eggs survived.
Sad.
3 of the eggs are in an incubator. 2 of them didn't make it. The genetic sampling will show whether the eggs, so they don't know yet whether they were produced asexually.
Can you know? Like, how would they know?
They said that they're going to be able to know.
Interesting. I guess if it has no male
jelly.
no male chromosomes. That's the question I have. If a snake reproduces asexually, can it be male?
No, probably not.
Can they give birth to male?
Wouldn't they have to be? Isn't Godzilla, aren't they all females?
Jurassic Park, they're all female.
Yeah.
But they found a way, and that was the whole reason they were all female.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is what
Dr. Malcolm
X said.
Right.
Ian Malcolm. That is random headline. I really need like an ender for random headlines, so it's not just so anticlimactic.
That's the end.
Like, that's all.
Yeah.
For random headline.
Are we gonna spin the wheel?
The wheel of morality. I really wish I knew what that other one was that I was thinking of, because it was going to be good.
Well, maybe it'll keep you up.
That's what's going to keep me up.
Yeah.
Oh, you already have it up there.
Oh, I've got it up. So we have radio waves, animals talk.
Take off radio wave. Well, that one's good, but I don't. I need to do more research.
Okay.
But I don't know. Whatever. Leave it on there. It's fine.
Okay. Radio waves, animals talk. Gene Roddenberry, human evolution, octopi.
Wait, we already did human evolution, didn't we?
Oh, that's right. We did. Octopi and compared to aliens. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. You got my music?
Oh my gosh. How can we even? We shouldn't have even started this segment without freaking Wheel of Fortune music.
Here we go.
I think I played that twice.
It's a spinning. Octopi.
This is a good one.
I'm excited.
This brings back memories of being a child for some reason. Not that I watched Wheel on a regular basis.
Well,
but I think my dad watched the news or something, and then it came on right after.
I don't believe you because you just referred to it as Wheel.
Yeah, the Wheel.
I didn't watch Wheel that often.
Wheel watcher?
I never watched Jep, but
Vanna. How does she still look so hot? After all these years.
It's in the robot.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, what is this one?
Octopi.
Oh, octopussies.
Pussies.
All right, so this is just another stupid evolution one.
Okay.
Now, we know, humans, we've evolved from primates,
Sure.
if you believe in that sort of thing.
Right.
And a lot of the reason that we've managed to evolve beyond what other intelligent species or animals were able to do is because we weren't at the top of the food chain, and we needed to make ourselves at the top of the food chain.
And we worked together.
And we didn't fly. And, that's parrots. They fly. They don't really need to evolve anymore because it was pretty easy for them to live. So I was thinking one night, well, what other animals are intelligent that are kind of in the middle there? They're still prey, but are also predators. And the one that I thought of was the octopus. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched videos about octopi.
They're amazing.
They are brilliant.
They're amazing.
They are almost humanly intelligent.
Yeah. Well, every year there's a story of one, like the one who that would escape and go get food and then come back. Remember that one?
Right. They can unscrew lids They figure out how to do that. And if they can't, then they figure out an alternate way. I was watching one where he ended up, instead of unscrewing, he just broke the top off the bottle. They use tools, and what's really crazy is all their abilities. Like, they might as well be shapeshifters. I don't know if you've ever watched the video of them where they're
camouflage.
They almost become something else.
Yeah.
Is what it seems like. Because they don't just change colors like chameleons. They change patterns and
they flash and
Yeah, and they're like almost their body surface will change to texture.
They're amazing.
So I was thinking, why didn't octopi evolve? And the only thing I can think of is that it has something to do with being in the water. But
I mean, the water, there's like more water than land.
Yeah, but I think that it would be hard to evolve into the kind of species that we are underwater.
You could argue they evolved better. They got 8 legs.
Well,
look at it change color. It's incredible.
It's crazy.
Stop following me is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He looked like coral there.
Yeah, they change, and it happens so fast.
Right.
But really, what got me thinking is, what if they did evolve? How freaking terrifying would that be
if they got on land?
To have a 7-foot-tall octopus that can change colors, is smarter than you, has a giant brain, squirts ink.
That's the scariest part.
Right?
Right there. Inked.
And it just led me to think, well, what if on another planet a species like octopus evolved
onto land?
Onto land. And they can still do all this stuff.
Yeah, when they change the texture, that is just disturbing almost.
Right?
Yeah, it like gives me the willies.
I don't know how they do it, man.
That would be kind of creepy on land, I must say. If I saw just like slopping down the street. Yeah. That kept you up though.
Well, I couldn't sleep anyway, and I was just thinking about it.
All right.
Octopi. They're
like
terrifying.
Yeah, they are kind of scary.
I mean, they're not. They're awesome. I love them.
They seem pretty chill.
Well, that's another thing, is that they have found that they make relationships with people, like the people that
they bond like an elephant
or dog even, and they get happy to see them and they know them and pick out their faces and stuff, which is that's really high intelligence as far as animals go.
Right.
And on top of that, I mean, can you imagine? How would you do that if you could change colors like that? What would happen in your brain? Like, what kind of control over your body would you have to just be like,
right,
and change textures and colors,
change color,
just by seeing it? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, that probably wasn't that interesting, but octopi, man.
No, you could sit. I mean, it's not. It's not something you do on a podcast, but you could certainly sit down and just meditate on octopus and think that's really weird. If you watch a lot of the video of them, changing color, and
just imagine them being sentient and talking to you.
Yeah,
and that these are the kind of other aliens.
Imagine
they
had
like that.
They had a job in your office building,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
They sold cars or something.
Do you think that if that were to happen, that people would still be racist, but not to octopus?
They'd be speciest.
Speciest.
Oh, we would totally be speciest.
Oh yeah,
if any other species could speak and communicate with us,
right?
Yeah, like if we taught all apes sign language with the little speaker, like on Congo. Oh yeah, yeah. We'd be like, oh, those guys are dumb,
stupid apes. All right, one more thing here. I've only got 2 for you today.
All right. I get to guess which wing of the American media this comes from.
Right. So this is from allsides.com. It's a great website where they present 3 different sides of a story, 3 different media outlets one being the center, one being right-leaning, and one being left-leaning. And sometimes they do have two. They have like moderately left and then like whoa left. And then they have moderately right and then KKK right. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
All right.
KK.
All right. This one's gonna be tough.
Okay.
Or really easy, one or the other. William Barr speaks truth to illegitimate power.
Oh, that is tough. Speaks truth to left.
Really?
Wait. I thought he was talking about his own power. Like he was speaking truth to his own illegitimate power.
Speaks truth to I think it's talking about.
That's why I thought left.
Well, it's from the right, the American Spectator.
What does the left headline say?
Barr creates firestorm with comments that appear to boost Trump's re-election campaign.
Oh, man.
So I guess if you would have heard that one and then hear that, the reason it sounds right to me is because it says William Barr speaks truth.
I initially, as you read it, I was like, well, that's right. And then,
but illegitimate is in like quotations. I guess.
Oh, okay.
That's hard for me to.
You should have quoted it for me.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
You're right. And then the center's top Democrats call for DOJ watchdog to probe Barr over possible 2020. He's William Barr, man.
Yep. Yeah. It can always get worse. That's our new slogan, by the way, between Spencer and me. Our new slogan.
I don't know if you laughed but it was meant to be a joke yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
When I said, well, I'm going to go watch the new Challenger documentary to take my mind off of. I need something lighter to watch.
Oh, man. It can always get worse. If you haven't learned that by now, I don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
So.
DOD will distribute vaccine doses within 24 hours of FDA approval.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited to hear the left on this one.
Trump says U.S. will have vaccine doses for all Americans in April.
I thought they were going to say, like, Trump claims he'll be able to have...
The left source is Politico, so it's not not far left, it's moderate left.
Right, they're not a hard left.
So I would be interested to hear what CNN or somebody said. And
Sure.
the right was the Daily Caller. The right seems to have a lot of sources that I'm not super familiar with. But the left... Oh, and then Reuters says, when will COVID-19 vaccines be generally available?
Generally?
Yeah, because they're just saying...
It's a legitimate question.
Let's not make speculation. Let's find out the real truth here.
I mean, yeah, because if we have 100 million and 1 out of 3 Americans getting it, you know?
As long as the old people get it and the medical workers, can't we just kind of...
That's true.
Can we be cool after that?
Teachers, hospital workers, old people.
Old people. Sorry. High risk
individuals.
Did you see that Joe
HRIs.
Rogan might host a...
I did. Didn't both candidates agree that it was okay?
I think so.
Or say publicly, like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Sure. Are they going to debate?
Yeah, they have one in like a week and a half.
I'm actually kind of worried about that.
I believe it's Chris Wallace.
I like Chris Wallace enough.
Yeah.
He's fine.
I'm not too worried about it.
Well, Chris Wallace won't go easy on Trump at all. I don't think he likes Trump.
No, I don't think he does either. I'm not too worried about it for you're worried about it for Biden?
I'm worried. Well, Trump will say stupid stuff, but Biden may say
stupid stuff that
they
matters.
may say stuff that makes him look...
Well, here's the difference. Trump says
senile.
stupid stuff. He doesn't lose any voters.
That's
Biden
true.
says stupid stuff, and he gets called out.
It may sway.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm getting tired. Are you tired? We probably
good.
should be done.
Yeah.
Kind of lost some energy there at the end. What happened?
We had a good discussion. It was emotional.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But you know what? Find us at The Arctic Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or go to thearcticpodcast.com. You can listen to every episode there. Watch all these ones that we've been recording lately. Get yourself a nice little mug. Or a blanket you can see behind Spencer.
Oh,
or
yeah.
one behind me. We have them in, I think they're all big. I can't remember.
Yeah, they are.
They're giant blankets, and they're very, very soft.
I don't know if they're that big, though.
Yeah.
They're
Anyway.
just huge.
For episode 96, I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer. See you next time. Y'all come back now, you hear. That should be my ending.
Yep, come
That's
back
from
now.
now on.
I like it.
Sorry. Bye.